Alrighty.
We're
back on the pod. What up, Ollie?
Yo, how you doing, Kellen?
Chillin'.
This motherfucker.
Starting off hot, baby.
I know. Have you even had weed today?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, don't do drugs, kids.
That's
Don't
facts.
don't do drugs, fellow 20-year-olds.
But if you're going to decide whether you want to drink alcohol or smoke weed,
Smoke weed. Yeah. 10 out of 10
Yeah.
times. Would recommend.
I don't know where I want to sit because I'm in a crack right here, but that's the best view. Fuck it.
I know you like the crack. Don't lie.
Like, some of the shit you say, I'm just, you are the only motherfucker that leaves me speechless sometimes. Where I'm like,
You're up in that crack. You're in there like swimwear.
That's a fire bar.
I know. I do. I say that line maybe too much. Yeah. I fucking love that line so much. There was a phase that I went through where I'd just be like, yeah, I was in there like fucking swimwear. It's like the only vocabulary that vocabulary.
There you go. You get it. We put a sign up on our door, the one that's like right behind where the camera is.
Yeah.
And it says, if you can read this, give us topics or funny questions to talk about on our podcast.
It's backwards. That's why you couldn't read for shit.
Yeah, I was struggling, but I got it.
No, you did, and you didn't even stutter that much. Yeah,
No.
it was good.
So hopefully our neighbors in the building next door can read
Yeah,
that.
apparently they were staring at our last guest. So
Shout out BK.
BK.
Yeah,
BK all day.
He told me yesterday at Avanti, shout out Avanti, that we were recording and his line of sight was like right out that window and all he could see was people just looking in and seeing what we were doing. Yeah. I guess I would be interested too.
Oh, dude.
If, we saw someone recording.
Oh, I did ask. I'd be like,
yeah,
full tilt, no fucks, just straight looking at him. Which is apparently what they were doing. Next time, we're just gonna we're gonna run over. We're just gonna flip the camera and point it right at him.
No. So this is probably episode 1. So that's going to be 108. So this will be 109. How's it been for you to get some podcasts under your belt?
Oh my God. It's so, cause like the first one that we recorded, I mean, the amount of notes that I took cause we sat down and watched the whole thing after, and the amount I wrote down so much shit that I was like, oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah.
And now I'm going to say like a million times, but I noticed that a lot. And just seeing what I did and watching myself from the third person's perspective is super interesting.
Yeah.
Like seeing myself, I don't know, on camera. I don't know. I just haven't been on camera if I'm not like riding a BMX bike or something like that.
It's a big adjustment to get used to.
Totally.
For me, I think I've now done it so much where I'm at a point when I'm watching the podcast back, I'm strictly like, I just need to edit. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take any of this actually in. Yeah. But do you like? So if you're sitting here, do you think about what it's gonna look like?
No,
not at all. You're just like
I did.
Here. Right? Yeah.
But now, like we talked about when we first started doing them, it's not about the audience. It's about just the conversation that we have. And that makes it way more authentic and real. And then there's just no pressure to try and put on a front for the camera.
Right.
And 100 episodes, you kind of just, you get to 100, you're like, this is how I want to do it. This is the most comfortable. This is how I think the guests are most comfortable.
Yeah. So far the guests have been, I feel like we haven't had a guest. I'm excited to have a guest that's bad so I can see not bad, but like just a little bit different, that acts differently in front of the camera is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and I'm also going to be very particular about who we have on.
Yeah.
If I don't think it's a good fit and I don't think it'll be a productive conversation, then I won't do it.
Yeah, not worth it.
You know?
Yeah.
But all the guests we have had on and all the ones that we have scheduled so far, I know it's going to be, we're just shooting the shit.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, right.
Shout out Chef John.
Dude, I'm so excited.
Stoked for that episode.
He's been prepping. He knows what he wants.
Yeah, so what did he say today at work?
I don't want to ruin it for you.
Reese told me a little bit.
What did Reese say?
Reese was saying like, Kellen thinks that Harry Potter's a level 10. He's maybe a level 1. Getting heated, dog. I'm ready to go to war for Harry Potter,
no. He was like, I'm gonna tear Kellen a new one. That shit was really fucking funny, dude. What?
I meant to give you a note about the podcast. So when we have guests on, when you laugh, try and bring your mic just a little down.
Yeah, because it cuts them off. Yeah.
Well, I don't want your laugh to be. I don't want you to do what I do because I like sometimes bring it over here and then you can't hear. You know, anything. Like when I start laughing.
Yeah, you go like.
But I don't want that for you because I want your laugh in the podcast.
But just not so loud.
Not so. No. You can do it loud, but you just pull the mic away.
So it's just like.
Because you can hear it from there.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But if you're like talking and then you laugh, but the guest is trying to say something else.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's not a huge thing.
No.
But I just noticed in the audio.
That was actually one of the other notes that I had on my first one. It was like, you laughed a lot. Like, it almost felt like a...
I want you to, though.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes the podcast fun.
Right.
That was just an audio thing that I heard.
Yeah.
And we could also... we could fuck with the soundboard and turn the mics down and up a little bit.
Right.
This is another thing I wanted to mention. When we have guests and we notice that we can't hear them very much, we should just turn their thing up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
especially if I'm sitting over there.
Yeah.
We'll maybe you'll show me later after we're stuff.
But if you notice that,
be like
crunch it up just a bit.
Okay.
If you bring it all the way up, though,
it's gonna make it like poppy in your ear, right?
You would have to talk from like here.
Really?
Or like here.
Yeah, like pretty far away.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I bet that fucks with the sound quality. That probably just lets
it does.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Same with the editing when we were talking about those bars.
Yeah.
It's the same bars there.
Oh.
You don't want that bar hitting the top.
Yeah. So that's why we keep it at this level, because then we can speak loudly into it and go all the way. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. So let's keep going on that. How is your experience with podcasting been so far?
It's been really, the story that you gave me on our first podcast together when you were like, I sat down with this lady that I met for 5 minutes, and that's really cool. Like BK, I had never met BK before.
That's right.
The podcast.
I forgot about that.
And that's why I was like pretty nervous about that one, because I was like, this is the first guest that I haven't known before. Like Reese is my favorite, like one of my favorite people at work. You know what I mean? Like I like him. We get along well. We've spent plenty of time together now. Same with Chef Zach. Like we've hung out with each other outside of a work setting, and this feels like it's starting to feel more like a not work setting, but we're putting in work. You know what I mean? It's like
we're not fucking around.
Yeah. Exactly. We're not just like fully kicking it with the boys. Yeah. We're doing something,
and it's not like, oh my God, we're gonna do a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, woohoo! You know, we're asking questions.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a conversation,
right, and get them to think. Get us and them to think critically about things. Yeah, no, it's a great time, and I feel like the questions. It's the other crazy thing to me is, I thought we were going to be like, sometimes at a loss for words, or like at some points there'd be interruptions to the flow and stuff like that. But so far it's been pretty like we haven't had to really like stop and be like, what are we going to talk about next? You know what I mean? The conversations have just been flowing, which is really interesting to me. I thought there would be more of a learning curve. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
it'll come. And
what does that look like?
It's just a weird, you almost feel bad for like interviewing them, because if they just give you responses
that are just shit,
they're just conversation stoppers. So then you have to pivot on the fly and think of something that's totally unrelated to what they were talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And then at the end, you're just like, did they want to do that? You know?
Yeah.
And it happens. It's going to happen 100 more times.
Right. What's your worst? Do you have like a bad story?
I've had a few episodes where I guess the same thing, where I'm just in my head, as the podcast is going on and as I'm talking, I can somehow still talk to myself and be like, this isn't
what is happening.
This is not a good podcast.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. And then there's other times when we're in a great conversation. And in my head, as everyone else is talking, like I'm thinking of when I'm with my 3 buddies for Bill's Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just sit there and listen sometimes. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, this is fire. This is
That's what I was thinking with BK. Some of those rants that we got on, I was like, oh, this is good stuff we're talking about right now. I'm excited for that one to come out. I feel like that's the first one that we were like, I don't see a stop in this conversation. We just kept going. Like
and I would love to do 2 hours with someone. I think with Chef we will, but the reason we had to stop with Chef is because we were all going out to dinner and it was getting later.
Yeah, Marley was like super hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry. And then,
everybody was hungry. Yeah. It was
late.
Yeah, it was like what, 8 when we stopped recording?
Maybe because we didn't know if we were going to get in.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is when it's light out, the picture is way better.
Oh, so we should try and get it while it's light out.
Yeah,
I can see that.
But because the one with Chef, it was light in the beginning,
and then went to it got to indoor lighting.
Yeah. So when I'm editing and doing like color corrections or putting a filter on that I want, if it's not consistently light, I can't use the same thing for everything.
Right.
Like the one with BK I just did, I used the same thing for every
whole
clip.
Thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it looked good.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
What is it? How's it been for you with me on board? Have you ever had a co-host before?
I've had
and off.
Well, I've had a lot of people say they would,
and then do like a few episodes, and then be like,
it just didn't click for them.
Yeah. What about it?
I think the level of commitment.
Oh, okay.
Which, it is a podcast, but also
there's so much more that comes with it.
There's so much more, and it is hard.
Right.
It's not easy to do consistently, I should say, and that's what I struggled with before starting in Denver. And I'm honestly so happy that I waited to do podcasts until now.
Yeah.
Because if I would have tried to do them periodically, it would have just lost my love for it.
Yeah, it would have drained you, I bet.
Totally.
Shit.
Yeah. But having you on, man, has been, it's just the divine timing where we keep talking about, where
keep coming back.
And just I fucking do the collab with Kat, meet Zach, meet you, meet Reese.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that we all are very similar, have very similar humor.
Totally. That's another.
It's crazy.
Crazy. I didn't think that starting, especially because, I trained with Reese to begin with, and like we got along well right off the bat because we'll both riff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that everybody, like, I didn't realize that Zach would riff with us, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that everybody would just click like that.
It's something real special, and that's why I'm trying to keep reminding myself that every day. Like today I woke up in a bad mood. And then I just try to remind myself that and enjoy these moments, because unfortunately these moments will end.
Yeah.
Zach's going to get married. Hopefully I'm going to get married. Hopefully you're going to get married. Eventually we're going to grow up a little bit and our lifestyle is going to change. But for right now, I want to capitalize.
Yeah.
While
100%.
we got a lot of good energy coming our way.
Yeah.
And we got a schedule, which is something that I've always struggled with.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, like when I first started the podcast, it was hard to find guests.
Right.
So I would do them alone, which is even harder.
Oh my God.
And then I would, I was trying to do all the other stuff with Lonely Cowboy, so I was just getting burnt out left and right. It was super inconsistent, but I knew I didn't care how inconsistent it was. I just wanted to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Which is great, because then you built a base. At the very least.
Totally.
And I didn't even think about that. Just having another person, a co-host, we can just do episodes, just me and you.
Yeah, whenever.
Right. And so that makes it way easier, scheduling-wise, at the very least.
Because if we don't have a guest for 2 weeks, we can still
make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And your roommate is fucking sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in a real good spot.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Zach about that, because he was just asking about, the direction of Lonely Cowboy and what if we have any plans.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I'm trying to play my cards right within the collabs we've been thinking about and guests that we could have on. I don't want to do it too early because we haven't built the foundation for Lonely Cowboy just yet. Right. We're close. We're definitely close.
We're making it happen. We're making money moves.
Yeah. We're just laying concrete right now.
Got the rebar in there.
But once, we'll both know, you and I will both be like, all right, it's time.
Yeah.
And when that happens, we got to be prepared.
Yeah.
We
have our shit together.
It's just running like a well-oiled machine.
Yep.
But man, I'm excited for this next chapter.
I know.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hard work. It's gonna be
a lot of work.
The rewards that come with it are gonna be fucking awesome.
So gratifying.
The highs, the lows. We're gonna learn so much this summer, dude. Which I'm most excited about because I've never been in a position.
Well, there it is. Oh, I've been waiting. I've been praying for this moment, bro. Fuck yeah. First podcast, I had like one of the worst I
get them. It happens to me.
Okay, cool. I didn't think it would for a second there.
No, I actually stutter a good amount.
Really?
Because my brain is working faster than I can talk.
That's exactly what happens to me. That's what happens when I go up to a table with some pretty ladies. I just go,
my name is Oil.
Oh, I should just do that one table just to see what would happen.
And then I come by and you got to pull a Reese and be like, thanks, Klondike. I love that line, dude. It makes me laugh every time.
I know. Does he still do it?
Oh, yeah.
That's really funny.
He'll do anything with a K.
Yeah.
K or
that
a C that sounds like
a
K. What was I talking about before I stuttered?
We were on a good track.
I know.
Just the amount of work, what we're going to learn.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm most excited about, I remember. Here we go.
Bang.
I've never been in a position where someone like you has been so open to the idea of Lonely Cowboy and seeing the vision and also being committed to it. Like, that is foreign to me. I thought that was not possible.
Really?
Well, I take that back. I thought it was possible, but for so long, like time and time again, it just wasn't clicking. So I was like, okay.
You set the timer, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
9. Yeah, we're good. And I knew that eventually, tie this back to my spirituality, I knew when the right time came, someone would come along and kind of help me piece together all the visions I have in my head and get them out, Yeah. And it just so happened to be you, Yeah. And now I feel more comfortable and more confident and way happier with how Lonely Cowboy's going because I know it's not just me. There's someone else who sees it, who wants it.
Yeah.
And that is like, as a business owner, that is all you can ask for.
Right.
And I guess as a young business owner, I don't even like calling myself a business owner. I feel too young and not like credible enough.
Which is bullshit.
Technically,
you're a business owner.
Legally, I'm a business owner. And I noticed myself trying to take notes from people like Carrie or Cliff, who like really take care of the people that believe in them and want to do it. Because without the people that help you, your business is fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's if you're doing it for yourself, you're not going to get as good of a product than if you were to build a team around you that all believed in the one vision, that all had the next goal. Because now you're number 2, dog. So Lonely Cowboy is only going to expand.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're probably going to get into that position where I am, where like you're like, fuck, I'm in charge. Like and these people want to help.
It work, yeah,
It's a weird thing, dude.
I can't imagine. That's fucking crazy, yeah.
It's a weird feeling. But like I said, right place, right time.
Yeah. You know what? Alexa was the one who told me that you had a podcast when I first started.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this motherfucker has a podcast? And then I was like, well, we worked in the kitchen with each other like a couple times. And at first I could not get a vibe. I was like, what is he like? You know what I mean? And then I don't know when it clicked that I was like, oh, he's cool.
I think it was post Christmas when I got back.
Well, yeah, obviously, because we had only worked with each other. We hadn't worked in the kitchen together. It was before Christmas,
like 2 times.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it was after we just started getting put together in the kitchen all the time, and we were first forced to work together.
Yeah, at first I was skeptical of you.
Really?
For real. Yeah.
Why?
Because you kept apologizing for shit. And I'm like, dog,
don't fucking apologize.
You work hard, you don't have to apologize.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that if you work hard and you're willing to take criticism,
right, and
not let your ego get in the way, and just realize, like we were talking about, you're a server, I'm an expo. Our jobs they can switch like that.
Totally.
They can find someone tomorrow.
Right.
So we have to know that and be like, Zach, Carey, Wallbridge, John, what they say goes.
Yeah.
You know? And I could tell from the very start you had a hard work ethic, which to me is a huge trait to have. And like, if I'm looking for someone I want to spend time with.
Yeah, I got to be able to. Yeah, for sure.
Because I feed off of that too. When I see my homies working hard, I'm like, damn, dude, I better have my shit, because if I don't, I'm out.
Totally.
They're kicking my ass out the group.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%. I think it's just funny because when I started, it was, I just felt out of place. I mean, I'm 20 years old. Like, this was my second restaurant job ever. You know what I mean? And I was like,
that's the other thing I related to you on, though, which is why I liked you, because I remember being same position, 20 years old,
right?
Server at a restaurant,
right?
You know, it is weird.
Yeah,
it's weird for sure.
And especially because I got there and because I got a referral from some of my regulars at my old restaurant, and they got, and I barely even got, it took a long time for me to even get the job. And then I come and everybody has so much experience and they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? I was just like, holy shit.
I was intimidated too.
I was really intimidated. And so I think that's where my apologizing so much came from. Because at first I apologized.
You would make a silly mistake and feel really bad, which isn't a bad thing. But in a kitchen where it's like you make a mistake, you got to forget about it right away.
Yeah. I think I would just get hung. Not only would I make mistakes, I'd get hung up on them. I'd make a mistake and then be like, just like almost stutter step, and then just like kind of stay one step behind for a while. I feel you. Which I think I've gotten way better at just being like, okay, compartmentalize.
That was close. You got it. You recovered. No, totally. Yeah. It's that's been a really cool thing to watch as a friend, just to see you grow in the last 6 months at the restaurant.
Dude, it's been like 4
months. Yeah. And because that translates to real life too,
right?
Especially in that high stress environment.
Yeah,
you're gonna learn some shit real quick.
100%. It's been cool seeing what you've done to the expo station.
I changed
as well.
that bitch.
Yeah,
around. Right. There were just a lot of silly things that I was like, why are we doing
this? Yeah.
This makes no sense.
What the fuck are we doing?
This could be way more efficient.
Yeah.
Were you there when we pre-made the sauces in the ramekins?
Yeah, and then had that whole little fucking tray set up. Yeah, what I was doing is I was look at the board, see what we needed for the board, and I would put it on there. I was like, why do we need? And especially because the syrups would get nasty in like
a minute,
literally a minute of being out of the container. It'd have like a glassy layer on top.
Yeah, it's gross.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw that one away.
Right. Yeah. So they're just wasting syrup.
Literally
wasting pennies.
Yeah.
You go.
Okay. Oh, pardon me. We keep circling back to spirituality and divine timing. We keep saying that word a lot, and I did want to just talk about it because when we did our first podcast together, we briefly talked about how neither of us believe in like a set or we're not
religious.
Yeah, we're not religious. We don't practice, but I just think it's funny. I didn't think about how I was going to phrase this question. I was just said,
it's all right, let it fuck it. I'll understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess it's just interesting.
Is it a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just how you feel about, would you, I don't even know.
Just let it fly, dude. We'll figure it out. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
This is what a podcast is for, dog.
We just keep circling around the divine timing, but I just feel like that's just timing. I just feel like we can put a label on pretty much anything, and then it's just the way that we look at it. And so if we're going to look at it like divine timing, I guess that is just appreciating, or just taking a second to appreciate it, which I can.
So, what is the question?
The question is, why do you feel like it's divine? Like what's the part that makes it? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I have prayed a lot for a long time. Well, I guess a long time to me is a few years.
Yeah.
Inconsistently, but more consistently as of like a year ago. And it's just weird to see things you pray for happen in real life.
Come to
and
fruition.
Then you realize it and you're like, whoa, that's fucking insane. You know?
Okay.
And it's not, I mean, I guess the spirituality aspect of my life is kind of like what you were saying. It's just how you look at it. That's just how I choose to look at it, because that brings me more peace of mind, and it also makes me believe in something bigger than myself. So if I can do the work, we're good.
I can hit my nicotine.
So
believe in something bigger than yourself and put in the work.
It's the believing in something bigger than yourself is almost like an ego check every day. And the prayer is like an ego check. It's like you have to, what you need to do in your heart. You know the bad habits you have. You know the demons you carry. You know everything. You know what you need to do. You know what makes you feel good. And no one else is in control of your life but you. Your friends aren't in control of what you do or what you say. Your family isn't. It is all on you. You have to own that responsibility. And if you follow the path that you feel in your heart, like you want to do the good things and say the good things and treat people the right way, and you believe that if you do that, God will help you, and what you pray for will come to fruition, I think there's some real truth to that, just in like an energy way. Like the energy that we have right now, I've never felt this energy. When I wake up every day and I'm fucking stoked because I get to go hang out with my friends at work.
Yeah.
I get to record a podcast. Like, this is not something we should take for granted, because it's not going to last forever.
Right.
And not many people will be able to experience this feeling.
It's a good point. So it's almost like I'm just going to take this as a moment to realize, or just stop and take it in.
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's
like
what
that.
prayer is for me.
For you. Yeah.
And praying for, like, recently I talked about it with you and Reese when we were playing skate. I started praying for the people that I have had frustrations with in my life. And that has brought me peace, just to know that, like, I guess my prayer looks like, God, I know I'm not strong enough to, like, heal these people on my own.
Right.
So I pray that you watch over them, protect them, love them, show up for them if they need you, because I know I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
And
then, okay, my next one is, what do you feel like? Do you feel like there are signs from God that you see in your life?
Oh yeah, all the time. Because I'll pray about an issue that I'm having, and not asking for answers, but maybe like, God, show me a sign, point me in a direction where you think I should go within this situation that I'm in. And then something will happen the next day. Like clear as day. It's not like this is just a crazy little thing and I'm taking it out of context. It's like in my face, wake the fuck up,
Right. That's interesting.
And those are really hard to deal with because then you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't keep not listening to myself and to my heart and going in the wrong direction and keep doing it and just ignoring all the fucking literally life lessons in front of me that are just
slapping you.
Like, dude, in I honestly think with my breakup, it was the best thing for both of us. But it was really fucking hard, obviously. All breakups are hard, but I prayed that would, I thought that was the right thing for me and for her. And then when it finally happened, it was like a weight was lifted off both of our shoulders.
Right.
And I think that was God's way of saying, like, yeah, you can love her, but she's not the one.
Right. Yeah.
You're not ready for this. You're not ready to be in a relationship like that. And I think a lot of the times that's what it comes down to, of just God showing you, like, you think you want this and you think you're ready, but you need to experience these other things first before you jump into that.
Yeah.
Especially in relationships. I heard this, I think it was actually something my mom sent me. And it was basically about having self-awareness to know if you have enough emotional capacity for a relationship. And you have to be real with yourself. Like right now, I do not.
Yeah.
And that's just the facts. So knowing that information, I'm not going to put any girl in a position to where they might catch feelings.
Right.
Because I know I can't provide right now.
Right.
But that happened to me with my longest term relationship. And then, 6 months go by and I'm like, okay, emotionally, I'm in a better spot to let someone in.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because going back to just the God aspect, I think it's really interesting to hear you. First of all, I just enjoy the way you talk about it. A lot of people talk about it in in a weird way, I feel.
Which is the frustrating part, because I'm like, dog, you can believe in this shit and you don't have to fuck all that other bullshit. Right. We don't need to be preachy. We can just talk. Yeah.
Because I think it's interesting because I feel myself doing similar things when I just try and listen and look and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and how is it going to affect me? Or like what you were saying with asking, how did you put it? Just like praying for something and then seeing it come to fruition or getting a sign from God. I feel like I try and look for that and analyze and be like, what is this? What does this mean? And what does it mean in my life? But I just never put a label of God on it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
totally.
What is this trying to teach me? But totally. I just don't look at God. Right.
It's a huge trait to have.
Right. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own ass. Shout out Reese. But I just think it's interesting the ways in which human beings as a culture and society, that's what we're drawn to, I feel like.
Well,
and across the board,
that's another, I know what you're trying to say. Innately, we want to believe in something.
Exactly.
We have faith.
Right. Yeah. And having faith makes it so much easier to accept the signs and
accept the good and the bad.
Right. Exactly. Accept both. Yeah. And be okay with the bad. Yeah. And be happy with the good.
It's necessary.
Right.
And knowing that you have to go through hard shit.
Right. And I think that's the other thing that's always turned me off from religion a little bit, is it feels like in so many cases you're just using that as an excuse or like as an escape.
That's what turned me off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, or just like try and, what were you going to say?
In the situations I've seen with religious people that have been in my life, they will use it as an excuse to do bad things. So they'll do bad things, repent and pray about it, and then think all is good.
Right. And that's exactly, okay, that's what I think I'm trying to get at is,
it's like they try and use it as a get out of jail free
exactly
card.
But if you don't learn anything, then what are you doing?
Exactly, dude.
But it has to be
super intentional.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is interesting. And then that's why I think the way that you talk about it so much is because you are very intentional. You're like, this was a sign from God, but this is what I'm going to take out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just looking for lessons in everything.
Right.
An example that popped into my head, I guess a time sequence of why I credit God to this, because I could have met any girl, but I met Allie, and she happened to be moving to Denver a week after we met, and then that relationship brought me to Denver, which brought me to all you guys. So in a way, Allie will forever be one of the most important people in my life just for that reason alone. Like, we went through highs and fucking lows, doing long distance, and then finally us being in the same city, and like, we had a beautiful relationship. It just didn't work out. And you could bring that even further to be like, when I had my first breakup, I thought it was the end of the fucking world, but why did it happen? Because I wasn't ready for that. Same with the next. You can piece together a whole lifetime worth of lessons.
Sequences, yeah.
And realize that if the 50 lessons before this one didn't happen, I wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, 100%.
It's weird. It's fucking weird, because the hard times are really fucking hard, and it's hard to keep the faith during the hard times.
Yeah, right.
That's another thing that's kind of frustrating, which I would say it's better than not doing it, but some people will only practice their faith or spirituality during hard times. And I caught myself doing that. I'd get in a groove of, a few good months, and then something switched. Now my life looks a lot different. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Then I'll turn to God.
Yeah.
But why wasn't I giving credit
the whole time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This was a fire conversation so far. Like, this podcast is going to be good.
You think?
Yes.
All right, cool.
These deep conversations don't happen often.
Really?
I mean,
I think I guess that's true.
This is like deep.
Yeah, deep, yeah. I think so I want to go to Buddhism just for a second, just because one of the things I loved about it. And then also, I just want to say that I am not an expert in any religion. Yeah.
Dude, I'm not an expert in fucking anything, dog. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, this is not an educational podcast.
Do your own research. Take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Exactly. But
proceed.
I just love Buddhism because it's one of the big things is just being okay right here, right now, in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so in Zen meditations, you have to sit there and you focus on breathing. There's breathing exercises, but the main goal is to clear your head. So you're sitting there and the meditation positions are super uncomfortable. They're like, your legs are cramping. You can't your feet will fall asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I eat that shit.
Yeah. But the first couple times I did it, it was so difficult to stay still. And then you're getting in your head, you're like, oh my God, if I move, I'm going to pull other people out of it and stuff like that. And then the more I did it, I realized it was more about being totally okay and being okay if somebody moved. We had new people coming in all the time that would be uncomfortable and squeamish, but all you have to do is focus on your breath and then just come back to it.
Yeah.
Every single time you felt your mind slipping away, you'd be like,
oh. Just got some ringing.
Your ear. Oh. You okay?
Yeah. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. That was just...
No. Yeah. But that's what I really like, just being okay and present in the moment. And I think that's what I forgot how I was going to tie it back. I had something to tie it back with, but I lost it.
This probably isn't what you're going to say, but the lesson you take from that is, from those meditations and breathing exercises, is to be present in the moment, even when adversity is striking.
Oh, yes, that's what I was. Yeah. And so, like,
when you get frustrated.
Exactly. All the time, just being okay. Like, stuff is going to happen every single time. Every time you meditate, every time you go to work, stuff is going to happen.
Nothing will go right.
Exactly. Right. Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
But just learning to be okay with that and accept it, that was super cool. And just sitting there and taking it. Mm-hmm. And by the end, by when I left Boulder and stopped, I haven't done Zen meditation since Boulder, which I really want to start. Mm-hmm. There's a Zen temple downtown that I really want to. Yeah, I would love to go.
Dude, I'd be down.
Dude, it's honestly one of the best. It just made me feel so much more present and content after I got out. I was like, so much could happen in the week. And I'd be like, oh shit. And then I'd go to meditation and I'd be like, okay, we're still here. We're still human. We're just doing it. Like, there's nothing else to do but do it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
There's this one exercise that I think you might fuck with it. And I haven't tried it, but you sit in front of a wall for an hour and you just stare at the wall. You can't do anything else but just stare at the wall. And apparently it brings you to a place in your head to, like, just deep down demons that you forgot about, because all you're doing is just looking at this wall. You're in your own fucking head. Yeah. And then in a lot of cases toward the end, people will start getting emotional and, like, just bawling their eyes out because they've never just sat with themselves for an hour. That's doing crazy. Nothing.
Right. That was the other thing about Zen meditation is you're not supposed to think. I'm putting quotation marks around think, but every time your mind wanders away, you're not supposed to you're just supposed to come back to your breathing. Like, it's literally nothing. Yeah. It's nothing, because every time you thinking about something, you're not here right now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're just sitting there doing nothing. That's like the perfect time to be like, I'm doing nothing but sitting here in this moment, completely present.
That's the hard part about having ADHD, unfortunately, is
yeah.
And because I'm usually the guy. As of recently, I've been kind of getting out of my shell a little bit, just because I'm super comfortable around the people we have.
I know.
Most times I go out, I'm the dude, like, sitting. If it's a crowded bar, I should say that. Any crowded place, I'm in the corner. Like, I could be doing something way different in my head than what's going on.
Right, 100%, yeah.
And
I do. Every time we go out and you start getting quiet, I'm like, what is that boy thinking about? Like, I know something's going on. Some bullshit, I know, I'm like, sure. Something's going on in there. I don't know what, but
dude, that's so funny.
When we were out with Reese and me and him were having a conversation, I looked back and you were like, I could tell you were on, like,
deep in
train. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I was like, oh.
It's so true. The train does not stop for anything.
No stops on the train.
But that is honestly what that's what Adderall helped with when I was taking it. I actually have taken it a few times recently when I just felt super, like that one time we were at Fox and I was like, I'm anxious as shit. My mind is just rambling on.
Yeah.
So I took Adderall again, and it did help. It just kind of, I don't know how to describe it, because for most people who don't actually need the drug, it, like, hypes them up. But for me, it just calms me down.
Is it like you can, instead of your brain just going ba 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 ba, does it kind of just stay on one track?
Yeah, it's more controlled.
Gotcha.
It's more like you can relax.
Yeah.
Just go. You know, as opposed to...
Interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah, as opposed to, we're going this way. Nope, fuck it. We're going this way. And then, Yui! Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's a weird drug, man.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it for the masses. I think it'll do more harm than good, unfortunately. But for the people that it can help, you definitely don't need it forever. But same what Reese was talking about when we talked to him, like you can use it as a tool, and then once you get what you need out of it, you can get off of
That's
it.
what I was about to say. I feel that's why it's hard that's why I feel children shouldn't be using it, because it's going to be super hard for them to take that as a lesson.
They should not.
Rather than, you know, if that's at that point, it's just a tool to help you focus in school for a second.
And this is the fucked up part. It's not for the kid. It's for the teachers and the parents.
Totally. Which is like, okay, so there was a podcast that I was listening to called Nice White Parents. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how...
Nice, dude.
Right?
What the hell is that?
Don't worry about it. No, it was just about... it was a good podcast. It was just about the public school system in New York.
Where I was.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
In the city?
Yeah, closer to the city. And just, I mean, it was about segregation in the public school system, because especially in New York, it's actually one of the most segregated school systems.
Dude,
crazy.
And they just have an absurd amount of schools.
Right, totally. And there's a ton of, right, exactly. But there's one of the schools that they were talking about on the podcast had I don't know how they phrased it, but there was another school inside the school in the basement or something like that.
So like a BOCES program?
Yeah, like a prep.
Like a trade program almost?
No, it was...
Prep school?
Yeah, prep school or something like that. Yeah, it was... I don't know, like a smaller school. They just needed space, and they had space in the basement. You know what I mean? But they had multiple of those schools, and that school in particular had a really good test scores. They had good attendance. You know what I mean? It was a desirable school, so to speak. But when they went, one of the reporters went into the classroom, and it was like the teachers would be like, "All right, everybody onto their seats on the carpet," and then would just start counting down, and everybody would like scurry to their seats. They wouldn't talk at all.
Yeah.
They had to raise their, you know what I mean? It was almost like a militaristic.
A very disciplined.
Exactly.
school.
And so the room for creative thought just wasn't allowed. And the more I learned about Adirondack school system, and the more I learn about the school system, it's just and we talked about this with Reese. It's preparing people for 9-to-5 industrial jobs. Yeah. But I just think it's interesting that's what we're looking for. We're like, let's go for the schools with the best grades or the best test scores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not stroking the creative side of that, of humans, especially because we are so creative. Like, we have the power to use our brains in the most interesting ways.
Dude,
possible.
I'll say till the day I die, art rules the world, because there's art in everything.
Yeah.
Whether you want to believe it or not. Like
Totally.
Building a fucking house or building anything, that camera, that tripod, right. There's art in building shit.
Right.
Just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, in culture, art literally rules the world.
Yeah.
Like the music.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really affect us, but the painting world in particular is so political. But when you get to a level as a professional painter, like, some of your work will be remembered forever. And some of the things that in museums and shit, like, people love to see history, and whether we want to acknowledge it or not, but we're a part of history. So in 200 years from now, you could probably, well, I don't know, but you could probably listen to our podcast if the internet, you know.
Yeah.
And who knows where the fuck Lonely Cowboy is going to be. And without people who are willing to kind of step out of their comfort zone and pursue this innate skill, or not skill, I guess has to be learned, but talent doesn't feel like the right word. Just
ability, almost
burning desire
to
create. At least that's what I have.
Right.
I can't live my life without creating something. And that's why I fucking hated school, and I hate the public education system, because I remember college was just forced down my goddamn throat every day, dude.
Yeah.
Just getting fucking drilled with that. and my teachers, my counselors. Thank God my mom she was very supportive of whatever I wanted to do. And she knew like college might not have been my route, but she was like, you know what you want to do. I support you no matter what.
That is cool.
Yeah. I'm super grateful for that. So I went to college for a year, and then immediately I was like, yep, nope, this ain't it, dog.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
That's crazy.
And that the public school system, I think, is one of the biggest problems that we have in America specifically, and also the mental health issue we have.
Yeah. Yeah. And they go pretty hand in hand.
Because we're not going to fix the older people.
No.
We have to focus
on
our
kids. They're set in their ways. Yeah.
Yeah. The kids, like, that's another thing that I don't understand about. I guess I do understand it. But people who don't view kids as the most important thing in our world are out of their goddamn minds, and their egos have to be just so inflated that they think they're more important than literally the children that are about to be grown-ups.
I also just think it's funny that people are so unwilling. They went through a bad experience, or they had something forced down their throat. And instead of being like, oh, I want to see change, I want to see something different for the kids, they're like, no, we're going to force it because that's what we did.
And honestly, it's not their fault.
No.
But listen, I agree with you, because now we have access to all the information. We know how that. So now there's no excuse.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if we know all this shit and you're choosing to ignore it,
that's
get
when it's
fucked.
Yeah.
Because these kids need to be educated correctly and not like just forced ideologies down their throat, because that's what's going to make them just left, all right, 9 to 5,
right.
Oh, this topic makes me so mad, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. It's too bad that neither of us went to private school. We can't vouch for that, but
well, I know a lot of people that did.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just like that, though.
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Like.
Just like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother thing. Going to an all guys and all girls school might not be the best move.
Just maybe. You
know? Might not be the best move.
What makes you say that?
You need to learn how to, like, you need to just be around humans of the other sex. Like, we can't force kids to just, because when they get out of that situation, then they're in the world where, like, if a guy goes to all boys high school for 4 years, he's surrounded by dudes all the time. He's going to have this unrealistic expectation for what actual reality looks like. And they're going to view girls in a much different way than someone who went to high school just amongst their peers who are both male and female.
Right. 100%. And the less you spend time, the less with people or a group of people, however you want to divide us up or whatever, the less empathetic you're going to be.
Totally.
Like, naturally. That's just how it works. If all you're seeing is social media and stuff like that, that's all you're consuming about people that are different from you, of course you're going to be just sexist,
skewed
piece of shit.
No. Just you're
just gonna have a skewed vision. It's just not gonna make sense in the real world, because we can talk like stereotypes.
We're generalizing here.
100%.
Preface, we're generalizing because this is not the case for everybody.
No, but that's all we do. I mean, and that's all that stereotypes are. Yeah, generalizations are sometimes necessary.
They're necessary all the time.
Yeah,
we can't have a conversation without, we're just like, fuck, we might offend you. We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, but we're gonna offend you, so okay. Let's just talk about.
Let's sit here in silence.
Yeah. Not talk about fucking anything.
Yeah.
So we're gonna offend some people.
Welcome to the podcast.
You know what? A lesson I learned the other day.
Sorry.
A lesson I learned in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
and it was actually, it might have been today in my room, but I just didn't want to tell you yet because we were going to do the podcast. I think that was it.
Oh no.
I need to make sure I'm okay with people not liking me, and I'm not going to change who I am for someone just because they don't like me. God, worst time,
dude. I don't know. We're flying through this one, Kellen. I have to piss so bad though, so we're gonna.
Okay. Remember what I was saying?
Yeah.
Let it go. So, something I realized within the last few days is, I think I'm at a point where like I'm okay with people not liking me, and I'm getting more confident in myself and the way I go about life and the people I keep around me, the people I lean on, where I don't want to change who I am for anybody, you know?
That's fucking legit. That is hard.
It is hard. And I'm not
I'm
not going to be perfect at
blow
it.
Smoke up your own ass.
No, yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
There's no chance anybody could be perfect at that.
No.
But it is a weird feeling.
Yeah, totally. I feel so what I was wanting to say is I'm a people pleaser for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's just how my brain operates a lot of the time. Oh. And which is not all of that's a bad aspect. There's like
not at all.
Yeah,
it's a good aspect.
Right. But it only becomes really bad when I not degrade, I don't want to say degrade, but put my own worth and my own priorities aside for other people. Yes. You know what I mean? And which I end up doing.
Yes.
And that's where it becomes, and I've put a lot of work in. I have, because in high school it was really bad. Like I'd offer rides to people when I shouldn't have, just because they needed it. And I was like, that's what I can do to help you right now. Mm-hmm. Shit.
That is a really good trait of yours though.
What, people pleasing?
No, just you have like a comforting personality to where people feel comfortable around you.
Yeah.
And I think that's quote unquote people pleasing. Like you said, there's a good and the bad side of it. Just like every other trait, you know, there's going to be situations where it flourishes and you realize like, yeah, I'm happy I am this way. And then the other times where you're like, fuck. I got to remember.
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And I think to your point of being okay with myself, that's where my healing from, not healing, but like working on being so people pleasing is coming from. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just being, this is me. Fuck you if you don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I don't care if you are happy about this. And that what it's really caused though is I am so bad at taking compliments.
Same. Yeah. It's so hard.
I know. Like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah. Thanks. I do appreciate compliments, but totally. It is hard for sure.
And it's just what at least in my head, how I think about it is I want to be comfortable with myself before I accept it. I don't want it to rely on not like self-worth so much as just, but like, I don't want to rely on people's compliments to feel good about what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
I want to be confident in myself first. Before, yes. Which is, I think, part of the reason why I'm also bad at taking compliments, because I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah. Like,
and
I appreciate it, but
it sounds so bad. But
I know.
It's like, I appreciate them, but
it's not going to help me at all.
And also don't think that just because you're giving me a compliment means that I fuck with what you're doing.
Yeah, right.
Or how you carry yourself.
Right, exactly. Know? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like I don't need it, you know.
Exactly.
I'm good with myself and my friends.
Right, and that's what I feel like I strive to do. But I think the problem with that is that means I'm never. If that's really...
You know what I do appreciate?
What?
Genuine compliments.
Totally.
Those feel real good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Or like from my friends when they're like, people's opinions that I care about, basically. You know what I mean? I'm like when I'm hanging out with somebody and they're like, Ollie, I really appreciate that you do this. And I'm like, oh, thank you for noticing. Like, yes, I work on that. I try and do that. Thank you for noticing. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of.
Those feel good.
Those feel great.
Do you remember like any compliment that you've received in life where it's like top of the list?
Compliments?
My friend made me think about this because he had like, I said something to him and he was like, dude, that is one of the biggest compliments I've ever received.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, it's true, man. You know,
yeah,
you are that way.
Right.
And I love you for that.
Yeah.
And then he asked me.
Yeah.
I was kind of taken back. I was like, damn, I've never really thought about that. And then one came to mind. Very special person in my life during a very interesting time in my life. It was a relationship-esque. We were never fully dating, but...
Situationship?
Kind of.
Okay.
But regardless, she was
story.
very important to my life, and she still is. And she's one of the people that helped me, quote-unquote, find God or just have faith, really. Yeah. And she was like, months go by, I move back home, and she moves, I think she moved back to California or LA for a bit. But we were texting back and forth, and she's like, Colin, I just want you to know, like, I'm so proud of you because you've done everything you said you would do. And I was like, that is literally all I ever want. Is like, I want to speak things into existence and not just say them. Like, I want to fucking do them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she said that, I was like, damn, thank you for saying that.
That's really cool. Huh?
She said it at a point in my life during Lonely Cowboy where I was struggling. Yeah. And then she kind of just snapped me back into it. Like, okay, I am who I say I am.
Right. Yeah.
It may take a while and I'm going to be inconsistent sometimes, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Right. That's cool. Yeah. That's a really good question. Actually,
right? I was caught off guard.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think about.
I know. I didn't either. And then that one just kind of
popped in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really funny. I think I like the compliments. I like the ones that aren't meant as a compliment. They're just when people just say something like
just a statement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or describing me or something like that. Mm-hmm. And because I don't want to think of myself as crazy funny. Like that's not.
You don't put up a front.
Exactly. Right.
You're not trying to fake shit.
I'm just trying to be me, and I think what I think is funny is what's like. Yeah, exactly. And so when people are in conversation or something, and funny people that I see, and they're like, "Yeah, Ollie's like one of the funniest people I know," and they say that genuinely, like to somebody else or something like that. That's when I'm like, "Damn, that's not." Yeah. That's sick. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest compliment.
Which is wild because it's you, Reese, and John, and Zach.
I know.
And BK, dude.
Yeah, BK is funny as dude. He just gets me because like he lures me in and then he'll just say some wild shit on the blue.
You'll be
I'm like,
damn. That was
amazing.
That was
his humor is so
that was
funny.
Hilarious.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Him and Zach together, dude.
Oh, it gotta be.
They just fucking
riff.
It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a really good question. That's a fun thing to think about, though.
It's also nice giving, like, actually feeling being genuine and giving someone a compliment and, like, really meaning it. That feels good because that doesn't happen very often. Like, I feel like people aren't genuinely complimenting each other.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally.
Which we should do more.
I know.
I don't know why we fucking don't.
It's funny because I use compliments as a tool at work all the time. Because especially with tables, they're not expecting when you walk up and the server's like, oh my God, your outfit's sick today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's just such an easy in.
Yeah.
And then you can initiate conversation. So I think that's the other thing that jades me from a lot of compliments is I use them as a way to make people like me.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of fucked up when you think about it.
Serving is fucked up.
Right. Serving in general. Yeah. Okay. All right. Justify my actions.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, dude, whatever you got to do, get that bag.
Get that money. Come on now. Dude, did I tell you my tip rate the other day?
Was it 30 something?
No. Well, yeah. 9.8 on top of 20.
Damn, so about 30.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then one of those servers came up and she was like, yeah, I was looking through my tickets and I had a tip on every single one. And I was like, what was your tip rate though? And it was lower than mine. And I was like, wow.
Servers are fucking divas, dude.
I'm just a dick about it because
I know. I did the same shit
so
when
funny. I know, yeah. It's just fun for me. I'm like, oh.
The cool thing about my last restaurant was like we all really didn't give a fuck. So
yeah.
It was not like Fox and the Hen where we're all working hard.
Right. Yeah.
And there was also no tip pool, so the servers just walked with what they got. So we just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude. That sounds pretty fun too.
It was more like, who had highest sales? Great. All right. Line them up. We're taking shots.
Right. Yeah. Thank God. I'm really happy the switch of almost the culture it feels from. It felt like when I first started, we were getting pushed to sell, and the management was making it a competition. Mm-hmm. And when management makes it a competition, it is not nearly as much fun. Yeah. But when I'm like just fucking around with my coworkers and being like, yeah, I beat you in sales today, or shit like that, we can make it fun.
Yeah,
that's way more fun
Friendly
than management. Yeah, exactly. Because like when we would get posted every week who had the high sales and who had high PPA, I was
fucking
like,
hated that,
dude. I was like, I don't. But also that doesn't reflect because Reese double brewed like 3 times. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't reflect everything that goes on.
No.
And it doesn't push us to work as a team better either. You know what I mean? So like why in a restaurant that we do share chips and we share everything, why would we push for a competition from that side? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think now we're at a place where just work hard. Do your
Literally,
job.
just do your job, please.
And we're good.
We're fine. I don't really care. We're going to get 20%. As long as your tables are okay,
they're happy. Yeah.
Happy, then we're good. It doesn't really matter if you upsell like obviously that helps a little bit.
Well, I think one of the points of working hard as a server is to get the most sales.
That's true. Well, yeah, but also
you're not trying to force it down someone's throat. Yeah,
and
the culture is more like, we're at Fox and the Hen. Let's have a great brunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that also comes with we have a solid crew who we know is gonna sell well. You know, it's not like having people that need that reminding anymore. I guess is another shift.
Here's a question: do you feel, or is there any pressure from the back of house? Because like we don't fuck up much. Is there any pressure about that?
Dude, I'm shitting bricks when I fuck up. But I think that also comes with, I know I'm going to get chewed out, and I deserve it. Like, I'm never like mad about getting chewed out.
No.
I kind of fucking love going back there and taking some shit. It's so much fun because I know at the end of the day, we're all fucking boys.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't matter. It's just another day of brunch, and they have to give me shit because
their job.
They're drowning back there in tickets. I'm out there laughing.
You want a fucking fried egg right now? You see the goddamn board?
Exactly. Like that's a necessary aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in the last restaurant, you could just give it back a little bit because you were like, this is not how this is supposed to be cooked.
Yeah.
And then be like, what the fuck? You don't say that to our chefs. Like that is not. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly. The amount of I feel like I could count it on my on one, maybe a finger on the other hand. The amount of times they've fucked up since I've started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's rare.
It's pretty. And they're efficient. Like,
I have to be the second line of defense, and like if something isn't right, we fix it before it becomes an issue out there.
100%. Yeah.
And they're quick about it. They're like, okay, give it back. Done.
It's crazy, dude. The refires are. That's the thing that blows my mind.
Well, this menu is easier to do it on.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But the refires are still, regardless, are fast as fuck.
We're selling a lot of toasts, and those are it's a lot of parts to it, but you can get it done quickly.
It's just, I think it's a little bit easier to upsell the toast right now because there's some cool toasts on the menu. And they're amazing. Right. Exactly. And that helps a ton. Yeah. That helps loads.
You're not going to go wrong with any of
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. No, everybody, the best part of the French onion soup was cool to talk about because that's easy. Or like Chef Carrie, like she was on Top Chef. That was a dish that she made on Top Chef, you know? But then that didn't turn into a ton of sales versus these. I don't even have to talk about the springtime toast that much. I'm like, dude, that whip feta. And they're like, yeah, you got me. Yeah. Like, bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've noticed customers when I'm running food out, more people are looking at the dishes as I'm running them out.
Dude, my tables, they've started going like, they've gotten bold with it. They're like just pointing like,
excuse me, what's that?
What is that? Yeah. I'm like, could you not point at my other table? Yeah. They're trying to eat. Everything looks super cool. Yeah, that's a good point. All the toasts look dope.
They look clean and refreshing.
Right.
And just.
And this is the time of year that I feel like people are like,
that's what I want.
The
burritos look way better.
So much better. The burritos look sick. Yeah. They make me hungry. I'm running a burrito. I'm like, Do you think I could steal a bite of that?
I'm getting a little hungry. But we're going to go eat soon.
Yay. There was another thing that I was wanting to talk about earlier that I should have written down.
Told you.
It was along with
I had something too.
Yeah, people pleaser lines. Wait, go back to what did you say right when we came back on that you were talking about that you'd been thinking? Oh yeah, not being okay with yourself.
Not
being okay with people not liking you.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds to think about where.
Dude, I had something too, and it was fire, but I was like reluctant to talk about it because I think it was a little personal. I just don't remember exactly.
Getting personal this episode, Kellen.
Dude, you should watch some of my other stuff.
Really? As a guy,
I've had solo podcasts where I like start bawling.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
What were you talking about?
I would just talk about life and what I was struggling with, and the direction of Lonely Cowboy, and how I was like, this is really tough, but I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep going. And yeah, there were some emotional solo podcasts for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those are hard. They're weird to post because one part of me is like, I don't want people to think I'm doing this for attention. Right. The other part of me is like,
this is what I'm doing.
Well, also, this might be the podcast that changed someone's life. Because this is powerful shit, man. Okay. And this is why I keep doing Lonely Cowboy stuff. And it fuels me like no other. When I first started my blog in college called Popular Depression, I don't remember how many pieces I did. I think it was upwards of 20. I had friends that I like barely ever talked to, and they're like, dude, thank you so much for writing about this shit, because I'm going through the same stuff, and it is super refreshing to hear someone else talk about it and be open about it and this, and that. And that happened often. I was like, damn, like, I love writing. I didn't know that my writing could do that,
That is cool.
And then I did a scholarship, I think when I first started Lonely Cowboy, and one person applied. And this girl, shout out to you. You know exactly who you are. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're watching, because you have been an OG. But she applied to the scholarship, and like it was a essay kind of application.
Yeah. Essay based questions.
Dude, I was bawling my eyes out reading this.
Wow.
Like, so emotional. I will never forget that day. I was sitting at my uncle's, and I was on his kitchen island reading it, and like the tears were just like, oh my God, dude. Like, everything I've done, none of that shit matters, but the people that I can help, that matters the most.
That's what actually.
Yeah. And I hope Lonely Cowboy can do that, and I hope this podcast can do it, because that's the goal, dude. You never know what podcast you listen to that can change someone's life.
Yeah.
And when you think about it like that, you're not doing it. We say all the time we're not doing it for the audience, but in a way, we're doing it for someone who needs it.
Yeah.
But not everyone's going to need it.
No.
You know.
Right. And the reason we keep doing it is for ourselves, but in the end,
I guess the reason I keep saying we do it for ourselves is I just want to create the most authentic, real podcast there can be. And that's part of the reason why you're running the socials, because I can't do that if I'm worried about how I'm viewed on social media.
Right.
So if I'm just out of it and I'm only doing it to have these conversations with people, I hope the people that really care about it and will digest what we're saying in a positive way, those are the only people that matter. You know, I don't care if you disagree with me or if you don't like me, whatever, because someone out there will hear something and it might just be like a fucking 15-second clip and they're just like, oh my God, this is something that I have never thought about and it's going to lead me down this path.
Yeah.
Back to divine timing. Why, like, there's so many podcasts that I've been influenced by where I could have went out that night or I could have done this, this, and that. And then I watched a podcast and I'm like, oh my God, I needed that right now.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular I think you should watch. Something. Okay.
Insert clip.
There's this podcast that I think you should watch. It's Shia LaBeouf and Ron Bessel. He's an actor. I think that's his name. But this is post Shia LaBeouf going through his domestic cases and shit, and you know the world turning on him.
Right.
And this is post that. So this is post rehab, post finding God, basically post changing his life around. And he like owns everything on the podcast. He's like, this is where I fucked up. This is what I shouldn't have been doing. This is the steps I'm taking to change. But he also acknowledges like, I can't undo that. So now I have to be 1,000,000 times better. Not for myself, but for the people around me, because he caused so much pain to those people. And that was a podcast where there were many moments where I was tearing up, just seeing like the realness and the rawness and the like truth in his voice. Cause you know, say what you want about him if you don't like him, but that man owned his shit and he's taking a lot of steps to get better. And now he has a wife, he has kids. From the conversations I've heard with him post that podcast, he's like super spiritual, super faithful, an amazing husband now, an amazing father. And that's kind of what I was tying back to our podcast. If we ever have one of those where it can change someone's life, that's all we can ask for. The shirt sales don't matter, but really helping people is the main goal of Lonely Cowboy. And I'm stoked for like the scholarship fund when we get that rolling. That's going to be fucking dope.
Yeah, totally.
But that'll be on the back burner for a bit.
Yeah. We just got to lay some bricks.
Lay some fucking bricks, baby. We're at 5. We could cut it if you want.
I think those are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got to save more for the next time.
That's facts. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, you're a fucking OG.
Kaylee.
Oh God, I hope I was leaning
Kaylee,
like
I
this.
like you a lot. What? Oh,
I don't think I think I was.
No, you didn't go that far.
Yeah. So, if you can support Lonely Cowboy and the podcast, you can buy one of these shirts. LonelyCowboyCo.com. $20. If you can't, no big deal. Catch you next time. Peace.
We'll be here anyway.